Kids and cadets, welcome back to Tommy Time. Today I'm going to show you how to remove a carburetor from a 2018 Craftsman with a Platinum 7.25 horsepower Briggs-Stratton engine. The first thing you want to do is remove the two T25 torque screws from the top of the recoil assembly. T25, remove those two and this plastic recoil beauty ring will come right off. You want to put that back on your grass catcher out of the way. Next you're going to have 3 5/16 bolts to remove on the plastic recoil assembly. 5/16. Remove these 3 and the whole recoil assembly comes off like so. Move that back onto your grass catcher or to the side. You need to remove those 2 items in order to get the gas tank off. The gas tank slides up and the beauty ring and recoil assembly will be in your way. Once those 2 items are removed, come over to your carburetor. You're going to remove the carburetor cover itself, the air filter cover and the air filter. Put those to the side. I'm going to move you down a little bit so you get a better view. There's 4 bolts that have to be removed to remove this backing plate exposing the carburetor. The same 5/16 that you use to remove the recoil, you want to come here to the 2 outside bolts. Those are 5/16. Remove those. I've loosened up everything to make this go a little bit quicker. I know you kids are busy. So those 2 are 5/16. Then you want to come to these inside 2. These 2 hold on this plastic backing plate onto the carburetor body itself. 9/32 socket. Remove those 2. This whole backing plate will come off. This fitting here, you remove it from this hose back here. That's where that goes. So what I like to do is remove the gas tank and the carburetor all at once. So you got to lift up on the tank. There's 2 notches in the back that just hold it in place. So wiggle it back and forth and lift up. Set it down. Now it's time to remove the linkages on the carburetor. So I had marked this one in a previous video. There's 2 linkages here. You can either take a picture of this setup or I just use some nail polish. This is just Dollar Tree nail polish. Whenever I'm trying to make sure stuff goes back in the same spot, I'll put a little dab of nail polish on. You kids and cadets never done this job before. You can mark a little bit of nail polish on the linkage here to the choke, and then on the plastic arm here, that'll help you put this back together again if you're worried about misplacing the linkages. Really, there's only one way to put this back together, but for peace of mind, you can mark it with some nail polish. So this is ready to come off. What you want to do is wiggle it and put a little bit of pressure on it. It'll pop off like so. I'm going to remove the choke linkage first. So what I do is lean it towards the back and fish out the linkage. Just turn this whole assembly on its side. Pull out the linkage like so. Put that to the side. Now that leaves me with one linkage, the throttle linkage. So all you're going to do is manipulate this to the side as well, and this will pop off. Turn it to the side and your throttle linkage pops off. So now what I do is turn this on its side, grab some needle nose pliers, pull the hose clamp down right here, loosen this up, slide it down, and now you're able to remove the carburetor from the tank, and there'll be no spilling or very little gas spilling. So use some brute force, pull the fuel line off like so. Take your gas tank, prop it up, hose up so you don't leak all over the place. Now let me bring you down here and show you how to take this apart. Take your 9/32 socket that you used earlier, and these two wide washer bolts need to come off. Remember, when you're putting this all back together, these wide washer bolts go on the bowl here to help secure the bowl. Don't get them mixed up with the other two 9/32 bolts that hold the carburetor backing plate. So loosen these up. Like so. I use an extra wide screwdriver and place it in this gap here. Just put it in there, twist it to the side, and it'll pop off the bowl. Like so. Go to the other side, do the same thing. Put it in there and give it a little twist. That gives me an air gap. I can put a smaller flathead in there and just pop it off, and voila, they would say in France. I have the bowl separated from the carburetor. Now you dump out this stale, cruddy gas into a container, which I don't have here, but I want to show you how to remove the jet cartridge assembly. It's this white plastic piece in here. You want to turn the carburetor body, your brass jets right here. You want to go behind the jet side to the back side, put a small flathead screwdriver behind the jet, push down, and then pop up, and this whole jet assembly will come out like so. Make sure you're using a small flathead to get it in the little gap here. So your jet assembly cartridge is out. You've got your main jet down here. You want to use a small bread wrapper wire, clean that out good. Use compressed air if you have it, or blow it out by hand. If you're not a smoker, it should be easy to do. Once this is cleaned out, take your small flathead screwdriver, the center emulsion tube here, go to the base, put your screwdriver in, and then just pry up, and this whole center of the cartridge comes out. A lot of times you'll see these holes plugged up with snot. Now is the time to blow these out. Come back, blow your main jet out. Make sure this is all cleaned up good. Run a wire down the top here. If you have some welding tip cleaners, you can run it through here. Clean it all up. There's another brass jet here on this centerpiece. You want to make sure that this is all cleaned up and beautiful. This one's cleaned up and open. So to reassemble, put your centerpiece back down like so. It's going to fit right on top of that little notch. So push it down, click it till it's already all the way down, and now you're ready to reinstall. The cartridge assembly only goes on one way. If you try to put it in the opposite way, it won't even go down. The holes are built so it goes in one way. Turn it around. Use both thumbs. Push down till it clicks. And that's how you clean your main cartridge. There's a few YouTubers that just say replace this whole thing for $15, but I don't see why you would do that when it's something you can clean with a bread wrapper. Pull the plastic away from the bread wrapper, and it's small enough to fit into these two brass jets. Clean them out. Save your $15. So that's basically it on how to do these carb cleans. I want to keep this short because the last video was too long and it wouldn't download. So this is just a quickie. So once your bowl's all cleaned out, reassemble it. Here, I'm going to dump this in another container real quick to show you. I was not prepared for you kids, but I'll rectify it. Okay, put that gas in an old coffee cup. Now we're ready to go. Make sure your bowl goes on properly. There's a right way and a wrong way. You see your intake jet here. There's a divot in the bottom of the bowl right here where gas collects. You want to make sure that lines up with the brass jet. So it would be something like this. So that brass jet sits in this cavity and is able to suck up gas. This is backwards. Your divot's over here, the jet's sucking over here, and it's not where it's supposed to be. This has got to sit down in this divot like so. So make sure the jet and the divot line up. Your little gas pool there. To put it back together, line your two holes up and just squeeze this together. Put your 9 30-second screws with the wide base washer. These are for the bowl. They need to go back in. Don't use these on the carburetor backing plate. They don't belong there. They're wide washer bolts. They need to go down here on the bowl. Tighten everything back up. Reassemble is the same way you took it off. You're going to put your throttle on first, throttle linkage, and then the choke linkage last. Just manipulate this sideways to get your linkages on. One other tip that'll help you out. When I took the carb off, the gasket stayed on the intake tube up here. You see the white locking washer and the black. Actually, the black gasket stayed in the intake here. It didn't pop off, but the white retaining clip did. So make sure your black gasket's in snugly. Take your white retaining clip. That needs to go back. Push it in, click it in, and that'll hold the black O-ring in place. Now you're able to turn this around, fish your linkages in, and you're good to go. So that's a quickie on how to do a carb clean and flush. Flush out the bowl on these plastic carburetors. Hopefully that was helpful. I don't want to keep going, or the download will be too long. Have a great day today. Thanks for coming out. Hopefully this helped you out on cleaning out your 2018 Craftsman self-propelled mower. Thanks.